Hello, everybody. This is not So I'm Watching the Show. I mean, it is So I'm Watching the Show, but this is our episodic coverage of Claws, and you would know that because you clicked on it. But I was just kind of trying to do a little formal setup, and obviously I am Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And we have very special guest Sade back.
Hi.
Yay.
Sade from Offscreen Babble. She's going to come along this Claws journey with us this season. So, yeah, we covered season 2 of Claws, and also Sade, you kind of cover it as well on your show, correct?
Yeah, I pretty much only talked about the finale and maybe the premiere of last season, I think.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little bit of information about the show that I say almost every time because I've recommended it to so many people. It's turned into one of my favorite shows. And I think it's important, but I always say that when this show was conceived, it was conceived as a half-hour comedy for Showtime. And Showtime passed on it, and it was then picked up as an hour-long drama by TNT. So especially in season 1, it's tonally odd. Mm-hmm. There's some kind of it took a good solid 6-7 episodes, in my opinion, to find its footing. Mm-hmm. And I think from season 2, they lean more into the comedy. And then if the premiere of season 3 is any indication, we're in full-blown telenovela territory.
I agree.
Now.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of setting it up because I forget that every time. And watching this episode, I was like, holy shit, like, I missed the show, but there's a lot happening.
Yeah, there's so much happening.
There was a lot happening. Part of me, I'm glad that it's a hit. To my knowledge, I think it's a big hit, and I hope that stays, at least for a while. I want to get a good 5 seasons out of this. I think that's like a life it could sustain.
Yeah.
But I could see how it would try some people's patience, because we're going in season 2, and it appears continuing to season 3, we're going borderline, fantasy with it sometimes.
I was going to say, because there's Will was out doing something in the kitchen, and while I was finishing this episode this afternoon when I got home, and they started dancing in the casino, and Will was like, oh, do they just do this now? And I was like, pretty regularly, yeah. I was like, It happens. There's
like 3 or 4 musical numbers a season, usually.
Which I truly appreciate. I didn't know I needed it, but clearly, like, it's always a nice... When that happened in this episode... somehow I was still shocked that it was happening.
Were you really?
I don't know why that shocked me, but I was like, okay, buckle up. Like, I don't know why every time it happens, I'm always surprised, but I enjoy it.
I accepted it because like one of the single greatest songs ever was playing. So I don't know how Free Your Mind by En Vogue. So I don't know how you would not do that when that song comes on.
Good point.
In your pearl-studded jumpsuit.
Yeah. I grew up in dance studios in the early to mid 90s, so I am very familiar with this song. Yeah, so I don't really know how we should go about it. I definitely took notes. We're back pretty much, well, not pretty much, exactly where we left off with Virginia in the hospital after being shot last season. And I do like that they didn't even pretend to like jerk us around with it.
No, they were like, she's fine.
Yeah, and all their promo, like, I think one of the first commercials for this season was Karrueche Tran as Virginia saying, like, I'm back, like, and I was just like, what? Like,
with her little eye
happy. Patch? Yeah, she had her eye patch, and then it's just like, that was it. It was like maybe like a 10-second little preview for, or a little commercial for the season. So yeah, I was very happy that they didn't dwell that going on. Like, she's not in the hospital for like 5 episodes or something.
Yeah, that also dovetails quickly into my favorite thing that's coming out of this season, which is that she seems to have gained magical powers from her cornea transplant.
From the shaman? Yeah.
Okay, so when the doctor was like, we transplanted her eye with a local elderly Reiki healer, and I was like, why are you telling them this specific?
That's a very specific thing.
Yeah, but clearly you're telling us because now we're getting Virginia, like, wise, old soul Reiki healer powers.
But she is still very much Virginia, because my favorite, I wrote it down, was when she was waxing poetic and she was like, whether you're like God or the Buddha or a big, beautiful queen in the sky with a pop and weave named Tanika.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've got a new religion. Like,
I know, right? That sounds pretty sweet.
Oh, God.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's the kind of thing that if I can offer any advice if they're listening. If we've learned anything from season 3 of Riverdale, you either need to like lean in or pull out. You can't straddle the line, the crazy line.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna go here, I hope we go here. And if, again, the premiere is any indication, it seems like we will.
Yeah, it does. I would say it feels kind of like the like on Happy Endings with Jane being a witch. Because that didn't lean all the way in, but it was like enough that it was hilarious. So if Virginia's just like saying creepy weird shit in the background all season, but they don't lean all the way in, I'd be fine with that.
Well, I wanted to take this moment to clear the air a little bit because I listened to Sade, I listened to your coverage of the finale last year.
Okay.
And we're on different places here. I think we're in different places here where Kristen and I are Dixie Mafia trash. We love Roller. And if I recall, you weren't Roller's biggest fan.
Okay, let me say some things about Roller, okay?
Okay.
I'm just going to say some things. Is he attractive? Duh. Like, I get it. Everything about him is like, you shouldn't be with him, but he's attractive, so I get it. I think because I recently, especially at that time of the finale, rewatched season 1 and saw how he treated Desna.
Yeah, but he's so devoted to her now.
Yes, now, however, he was like physically abusive to the point that she had to shoot him, or I think it was Virginia. I forget now, but
right.
like it escalated so much that it's like, okay, maybe you guys can like, okay, I apologize. That's fine. But let's not get intimate again because that was a
People
bad...
can change, Sade.
No, is what I was going to say is I treated it, there's a disconnect in my mind because I treated season 2 like a slightly soft reboot.
Yeah, I see that too.
And so I just sort of not discredited, but I sort of dismissed some of the season 1 establishing stuff.
Yeah, I had totally forgotten that he was like, that he was hitting her, yeah.
I mean, that was the premise of the whole show, that she, like, killed him, and also he did have, like, a head wound and a near-death experience.
Yeah, he did have traumatic brain injury.
But I was going to say, I'm choosing to trust this character we have now. And
me too.
I do agree that I think they have reworked his character. But what I will say is, like, throughout this episode, Desna is saying, like, because you're seeing her and she's like, no, $50,000 isn't going to be good enough for me. I know I can get more. I'm tired of people trying to think that they can, like, run my life and tell me this stuff. And that makes me think back to that first season when they were kind of, like, not giving her the money. They were taking advantage of her. They knew that she would always do what she needed to do, but they wouldn't pay her, like Uncle Daddy. And then when she tried to talk to Roller, he was like, know your place. Like, you know what I mean? So that's my resentment with Roller. Like, again, he can wear all the jackets with no shirt on and have it zipped down all he wants. And he absolutely will. And do I like that he started Lady Bird in order to make that reference? Yes.
My note, I was like, there's no way Roller's seen Lady Bird. And then the next line was, did you even watch that movie?
And he's like, I started it. And it's like, okay, Roller, I like that you started it. You know, like...
I mean, it's character growth. It's character growth. We'll see. So
that's
but I just wanted to draw a hard line in the sand, because if he does ever betray her, this will be egg on mine and Kristen's face, and you get to be like, I told you so.
Yeah,
like,
true.
I don't know. Like they're setting something up, because he was like, what are we? He's trying to like get with her again. And she was like, okay, that's fine. We don't need to do, like, we could have sex, but like, let's not worry about that. And I feel like he's going to have some resentment towards that and act out again. I don't know which way he will act out, but.
And they made sure to establish that Olga is still out there.
Which one's Olga?
Like his baby mama, Zlata's daughter.
Right. That's right.
They mentioned her by name.
Yeah,
so it's
that's
like,
right.
If I feel like if they didn't have plans, like if we weren't going to see her again, they wouldn't have brought her up.
That's probably true.
But the baby isn't his, right?
No.
Well, she said no, but we don't know.
Okay.
And that is the other thing I was going to ask. Can you recall, either of you, if the character of Roller is meant to be younger than Desna, the same way that the actors
I
age
think
dynamic?
so.
Okay.
I would imagine. I mean, he's like 20 years younger than Niecy Nash.
Yeah, so I think that's
he's like in his early 30s. Maybe like 15 years. I don't know, because I don't know how old Niecy Nash is.
I think that's a dynamic that is like important to their relationship as well.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
you did mention the check. I laughed out loud when Mac and Melba, well, Finn, period, in sentence there. But I laughed out loud when Mac and Melba handed her a check for $50,000. I was like, are you kidding?
The thing about this show that is so awesome is not only did they hand her that check, but that was like the moment when she was like, I'm that bitch. No one can fuck with me. I have so much money. I literally have a necklace on that's diamond encrusted that says boss. And then she's handed this check, and it's like a slap in the face because of everything that she was accepting. So it was like extra funny to me because everything that she was presenting, especially like before Virginia got shot, was like, I'm that bitch. I'm getting my money. I own the casino outright. And then it's like a reality check at that moment. Like, actually, you're co-owner, maybe like a minority owner, and they're trying to give you $50,000, which is a lot of money, but clearly not what you were expecting to get.
Right.
And so it's their casino. It's one of the Indian casinos, or what? How is that phrased?
Oh, I don't remember the term they used, but I think they specifically said because it's like a Native American casino, you have to be Native American in order to own it or something.
Okay.
Have a majority stake in it.
Okay.
But it was like she got it from the husband, right? Ruval?
From Ruval,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
So they were in business with Ruval.
Yeah, I mean, she did ask for like a straight 50%, and I feel like the issue was somebody Native American has to own the majority share. And so I was like, Desna,
50 was a lot. I was like, I would have gone
49.
with 20.
Not even, but like 49 or 45 or like a 60-40 split or something like that. It's like, you don't, if it's not going to work like legally for like the straight 50, just, give a little
but
leeway.
If they're laundering $2 million a month, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Because they also seemed like no nonsense with that woman, the accountant.
Yeah.
I loved Zlata. We were both so sad to lose her last season.
Yeah.
And so I feel like these people have big shoes to fill. And as of now, I don't really know where we're going. I don't really know what the overarching story is going to be.
I don't know either, but what I was like, guys, come on. When they are beating up that accountant and Roller is watching, and there's just like, first off, they're doing the beating up, and they don't have any security. So Roller could just like stand right outside the tent and watch with no worry of getting caught. Like, it was just like, okay, what is because like at least the last time with, what was her name again? Zlata? I never.
Yeah, with a Z, Zlata.
She had so many like people who worked under her, right? She always had that presence. And it seems like these two are like, no, we got this. We beat people up. We do all of it.
It's kooky for sure. And that's where I'm like, they're laundering money, but I'm like, what are they? Because it's like, we had the Dixie Mafia, we had Ruval,
the
was
Russians.
Haitian, right?
Yeah.
So we have the Russians, we have the Haitians. So it's like, what are these people? And I feel like we're getting to like a John Wick territory where I'm like, are there any actual just citizens in this place?
In Palmetto? Palmetto is nothing but just sort of criminal overlords.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I'm moving on a little bit quickly, but I was going to say, I also love when shows threaten us with something just to resolve it immediately. Like Bryce and Jen moved to Tampa last season just to be back by the end of the episode. And I mean, we did get that scene with Becky and Tom. But
talking about how Jen's nails were too urban.
Oh my God.
I was like, shit.
I always liked Jen the most. I think it was season 2 where she had like maybe the rough part because it was the whole relationship stuff. But like this version of Jen is my favorite. Because immediately she's like, what did you just say to me? And then like just calls her out. I also like that Bryce is a huge Beyonce fan. That moment, like every time they brought up Beyonce and like they had to miss the concert and how upset he was truly hilarious to me.
It's like he couldn't even talk about it. He like had to walk away when Roller brought it up.
Yeah.
It was a double whammy for me because I watched Big Little Lies first and then I watched this. So I did a fair amount of cackling last night. And it's funny in different ways, although this season's Big Little Lies is in a decidedly campier direction than last season. So
You can thank Meryl Streep for that.
Yeah, they pair well, but I seriously laughed out loud so many times. And the one that just killed me was Jen and Bryce at the end at the pool, where he was basically fingering her in front of the kids.
Yeah.
And she was just like, I love those kids, but so help me God, I will throw a toaster in that pool if they don't let me get this nut.
I was just like, okay, Jen. like, Jen, we get it, but calm down.
I was on her team 100%. I was so on her team with that one.
Gosh. No, Jen had some funny lines. I mean, I remember when she was talking to Virginia, and she was like, what did she say? She's like, oh, that or other cornea is bullshit. Like, she's trying to reassure her, like, you don't need that other eye. And then she called her, like, a sexual pirate. Those were, like, I was just like, Jen is, like, my favorite.
I love when they do the previously on stuff because I need it. And I had already forgotten so much of season 2 because when we opened up with Polly in the clinic, I was like, oh, right. I forgot about her sister. And I loved the scene, how seriously they were taking it, her trying to break out of this clinic just to have the nurse be like, this is a voluntary clinic. You can leave.
You can leave at any time.
As she's dangling out the window from her bed sheets and like...
Yeah, and how animated she was pulling out that bedsheet rope. It was like she had been working on it for a while, obviously, and she was just like, okay, yeah, that was insane. That was crazy.
And do you guys remember why she's being weird with Dr. Kin?
No, I was going to ask you two that.
She was mad at him about something.
Was it with Marnie?
I don't think it was about the sister, but I don't remember either. But she was mad at him about something, and that was part of the reason why she left to go to the clinic in the first place.
Well, Marnie was her like adopted daughter, remember?
Oh, I thought that was her sister.
Lillian was the sister. Marnie, that was the plot that was like one step too many last season.
Yeah.
I don't quite recall, or maybe we're building to it, but there was a couple of people that I was a little bit surprised to see that, was back, and because Dr. Ken is one of them. Not that I was surprised that he was back, but I was like, oh, he's like a presence on this show.
Yeah.
And the other one is Toby. He's now a series regular, apparently.
Well, given the end of this episode, I'm not surprised.
Wait, which one is Toby? Oh, Toby is
Uncle Daddy's boyfriend, yeah.
Got it. Okay, what's going on with Toby?
I don't know. I was betrayed at the end.
I welcome his presence, and I'm glad that I also weirdly like Uncle Daddy. I don't know. I think he's funny. I think it's just really funny.
He is.
Well, Dean Norris is amazing.
If I think something's funny, it goes a long way. Like, I have a long, amount of tolerance for something. But I was glad that he didn't do it. And I mean, I'm not glad that Toby did on his own, because I was kind of like, Desna's been so nice to you. Like, Desna took Toby in. So that really kind of shocked me. But it also seemed like, I don't think that plot's going to disappear. I mean, it's obviously going to rear its head, but it's like, I don't think it's necessarily going to be an ongoing plot of like Toby trying to like roadrunner Desna.
Sure.
Yeah. What I can say, what I enjoyed about this episode was that it felt like you said, they were trying to, okay, remember everything that happened last episode. Let's address everything now. And pretty much everything is resolved, right?
Yeah, so, absolutely.
So regarding who shot her, it's like resolved. However, we, the audience, know, well, technically the person who did it is Toby, right? So like, it seems like maybe he'll be fine because he just said, oh, I just didn't like how she was treating you, Uncle Daddy, whatever. So it kind of seems like, yeah, maybe that storyline is going to be to the side, because I did watch that little like next time on Claws, like this season. And I mean, it was brief, but it didn't seem like they're like, I really need to know who shot me. Like, it seems like they're just going to kind of move past it.
I think it'll come back up, but what I'm kind of secretly hoping, and depending on how they do it, I mean, if they go full throttle, like they are known to do, if we turn Toby into this weird Lady Macbeth character, that could be potentially hilarious.
Yeah, that's true too.
Like,
that would
if
be
Toby
interesting.
starts calling weird shots in this way, it depends on how they do it. But like I said, the fact that they went ahead and promoted him to series regular makes me think that they have something in store. And also, because didn't he, and I guess this is the question, because I am saying I thought he was transgender at one point. Didn't he have breasts?
I thought so too. I don't know. I think he was wearing breasts.
I thought that it was surgical.
Oh, I for some reason thought he was like doing it temporarily. Like, I'm going to do this or something.
So then maybe we'll see for the time being, I guess. I mean, the show hasn't instructed us otherwise, so I'm going to call him. But,
yeah.
And I mean, this is in a nutshell what this show is good for, is it's like these kinds of characters and these kinds of conversations are on the periphery of so many shows and stuff. And to have like, mainstream, edgy, like TNT dramedy tackling, these characters, these subject matters, these themes and stuff, it's really fun and it feels kind of like revolutionary, and I just really enjoy it. And I mean, because we talked about last season, we were like, how did it take Niecy Nash this long to get a vehicle, like a good?
Oh, I know.
Absolutely,
It feels crazy.
Because I mean, I've been watching her since Reno 911. Like,
exactly, she's such an amazing actress, and not even just like comedically, like. All around, she's good at the dramatic parts. She's good at the comedic parts. She's very believable. Like, I'm with her the entire time. And I'm really happy she has this, Yeah,
because I'm watching her in When They See Us right now.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
I'm not seeing Desna. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also to mention, did you ever watch Sade? Did you ever watch Scream Queens?
No, I didn't. I never watched that.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
murdering Zayday Williams.
She is so funny.
Really?
In Scream
Okay.
Queens. So funny. She was like, and she's in a relationship with Glenn Powell from, did you ever see?
Really?
Yeah, from,
I know him from Set It Up and.
Yeah.
What else was he? I think he was like in Hidden Figures for like a second. Yeah.
They have this torrid love affair throughout Scream Queens.
Oh,
It's
wow.
so funny. It's so funny. So you have to see that. But also, gotta shout out the love fest that is brewing between Claws and 911 on Fox.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I'm so glad you said it, because I was going to have to say it. I laughed my ass off. I told Will, I was like, this is especially amazing because there's that moment in 911 where Angela Bassett is live tweeting Claws. And I was like, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen.
It's the season 2 premiere, because I think I've even told you, Sade, that you need to be watching 911 as well.
Yeah, you
did.
It's
on Hulu. You can start with season 2. If you want to watch season 1, you can, but you can start with season 2.
Okay, I think I would just start with season 2.
Yeah,
I
they do like a
co-sign.
soft reboot.
Okay.
And in the first episode, she's like live tweeting Claws and stuff. And so
that's so cute. I didn't know that. Okay.
So when Dean was like, "There's not enough Angela Bassett to protect all of us," oh God. We also, because I started to say we had that scene with Dr. Ken and Dean has proven to be kind of a fascinating character in a way I wouldn't have pegged, but
I agree. I was worried, especially because we have had such an up and down relationship with him.
Harold Perrineau,
with Harold Perrineau. And it's like, because I really liked him when I saw the Romeo and Juliet that came out in, what was that, 96 or 97?
Mm-hmm.
And then I really didn't like him for even one single minute on Lost. I thought he was terrible the entire time.
Oh, really?
And then
Okay.
So since then, I've gone really back and forth on Harold Perrineau as an actor. And for whatever reason, this role is really selling me the hardest on him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, he's doing such a good job. And I also just think Dean is a really sweet and decent character that the show needs.
Well, and just interesting, and also on the sweet and decent note, he apparently has the dark side that we might be exploring this season.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. I'm a little scared.
When he flat out goes to Dr. Ken, "I've killed before and I'm very good at it."
And doesn't he say like there's like something satisfying about it?
He found it oddly satisfying.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm a little worried, especially because I remember in the first it felt like more in the first season, maybe a little bit in the second season too, where Desna, one of her main concerns was like making sure he was safe, making sure that he wasn't going to like get hurt or in trouble or anything like that. And now that all this other craziness is happening, she's not 100% like focusing on him as much as she used to.
Yeah.
Like, maybe she might have been a little overbearing in the first season or so. Like, but now it seems like she's giving him his space, especially now that he's in a relationship. But I don't know. I was a little scared, especially when she, like, woke up and he took the gun and he was waiting for his Uber. And I was like, oh, no. Like, what is about to happen right now? You know, like, so I hope he's okay. I don't want anything to happen to him.
I don't think we're gonna lose him, but I think we'll get some close calls.
Oh,
I could agree with that.
That's just my feeling. But,
yeah.
I mean, I guess we could. You never know if a show like this wants to shake things up, but so far they've been pretty reserved with their cast.
The
You know what
deaths,
I mean?
yeah. Well, that's the thing is like none of the actual cast has died.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like we
again,
thought they have a couple times.
yeah. I really thought Virginia was going to be gone, and then they obviously didn't do that.
I just would have been furious. I cannot believe that the show made me, A, know who Karuchi Tran is, and then B, made me love her.
Okay.
Yeah, I love her.
I'm so happy you said that because I do follow like celebrity gossip, right? So when I was watching the show, or when I was even debating starting the show, I was like, they have Karuchi Tran, Chris Brown's ex. Like, why do I care about that? Like, I was
Same.
literally like I only know her as like a model and Chris Brown's ex. Like, who is she to me? And then I started watching the show. I was like, am I Karuchi Tran's biggest fan right now? Like, it was like, am I following her on Instagram and watching her like play around with Niecy Nash and like just that? Like, yeah, and I love her. And so when they were like, oh, she's dead, and that whole episode, I was like, man, they made me really like Karuchi Tran to take her away. Like,
she brings something to the role that you wouldn't think she could bring, and it's something that's so necessary. And then when you think about it even one step further, you realize she's the only one who can bring that to that role.
It's like, this is a total contradiction, but it's kind of like a naive wisdom.
Yeah,
yeah.
So the only last thing I'll say before we go, because we are starting to run out of time.
Okay.
But we didn't mention Quiet Anne. There wasn't much that happened. She's kind of back with her ex-girlfriend. I do not remember the cop's name.
It doesn't matter. Quiet Anne's not into it.
Yeah. And I'll say, like, for me, I you know how there's like little things that might bug you? I never like fighting turned into sexy. Or like, you know, like that, that which seems to happen.
There is another line in the sand between us and you.
Oh, really? I do not like it. It's hard for me to get on board. So when they were fighting, I was like, what the heck? And then when they were like, okay, now we're about to fuck, I'm like, oh no. Like, it's just a thing for me that I don't like.
I get that. I get that.
But yeah, so when that whole thing, I was like, why would either of you two want to be with each other? Because you both have crossed each other. At this point,
yeah,
you shouldn't trust each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'll say for me, I really enjoyed this episode, and I don't know, maybe this will be another thing where you and I are different. Do you guys miss them doing nails?
A little bit.
Okay.
I think they're going to. I think this was a strange episode. I think they're going to keep doing nails.
I was very aware we weren't in the salon, and that made me think we don't have that set anymore.
Yeah, I would like...
Oh.
Yeah, I almost feel like they don't even have their old salon. Yeah, they don't have that anymore. I just would like maybe, I don't know, like 15 minutes. Like, oh no, we have to go do someone's nails.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Because this was just the first episode. I think this was a pretty solid premiere. Premieres can be tricky, and there wasn't anything too huge other than, you're right, Sade, they completely ended all of the plots that were up in the air, and then certainly establishing stuff that's going to go forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also think that pumpkin lube is going to come back up again.
Yikes.
It was very
really?
deliberate.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
No, me too.
How?
I don't know, but
it was very prominent in that shot. The fact that it said pumpkin lube, and I was like, ugh.
Oh, no.
Is that the brand? Is it pumpkin flavored? Why is it seasonal?
Scented.
What's happening?
Yeah. I think that somebody is going to be sleeping with somebody else, and that's how we're gonna know, or something. I don't know. But
okay, I did not think about that, but now that's all I'm thinking about.
Oh yeah,
it was too visually prominent.
Desna and Roller killed that guy, Clark or Cody or whatever his name was.
That's a major thing.
He deserved it. I mean, it's definitely going to come back to bite them, but he deserved it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he didn't. He implied murder. He's probably killed people before, but
yeah, it's justified.
Desna, man, when she sees a redneck, she floors it. Because that was and then they dumped him in the Everglades. So
yeah. Wow.
Okay, well, I think that's all we have for now. We will tune back in next week and see what happens then.
Yay!
All right.
So, do you want to? Oh, before we go, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you, Sade?
Oh, yeah. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Offscreen Babble. And you can listen to Offscreen Babble wherever you listen to podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So, okay. See you guys next week.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.